Hey guys, we got some great predictions for NFL Week 5. We're going to start off real quick. We got Broncos beating the Colts. Now, I think Jonathan Taylor isn't going to play. If he does play, I still don't think it's going to matter, and here's why. He hasn't done anything this year. He literally hasn't done anything. I mean, bro, he's hardly scored a touchdown. He may not have scored even one touchdown, which, given I picked him 1-1 in fantasy, I'm not super happy about. But got to go with the Broncos, especially if he isn't playing, because he's just someone that they have to pay attention to, and now they don't. Matt Ryan, he's done okay. 5 TDs, 5 picks. That's not great. Wilson, 4 TDs, 1 pick. That's a little bit better. Javonte Williams is out for the Broncos for the rest of the year with a torn ACL, I believe. So they're starting the fumble machine, Melvin Gordon. So that's going to be just so much better for them. That's about it for that game. Next, we got, I think the Packers are going to beat the Giants. Giants have actually looked pretty good. We are in London for this game. It's going to be at 9:30 on October 9th. Rodgers, he's had more picks than he normally does, but he also doesn't have the receivers that he's used to. So, it's kind of a give and take situation there. Barkley, he's averaging 5.5 a carry, 463 yards. He's playing amazing right now. 2 TDs on the year. I think he's going to probably at least get one more this week. And, Daniel Jones really hasn't looked as bad as he normally does. So, some positives there. And neither team really has anything all that great at receiver, so there's no real point talking about it. I think the Packers are going to win, though. We got Lions Patriots. I think the Lions are going to win. Patriots, I think, are probably going to be without Mac Jones. And they did look surprisingly good last week, but I don't think they're going to be able to do the same considering how many points the Lions have been able to put up. Goff, 11 TDs, 3 picks, really doing pretty decently, over 1,100 yards. And then you got Hawkinson, who had a monster game last week. Not really sure if he's going to be able to replicate that, but it's definitely a possibility. I think the Lions are just kind of a scoring machine, and the Patriots won't be able to keep up, is kind of what I'm trying to say there. Next, I think the Bills are going to beat the Steelers. This one's not really a surprise. The Steelers are starting Kenny Pickett because Trubisky just was so bad. Allen has played pretty good this year, 10 TDs, 3 picks, 1,200 yards. Najee hasn't really impressed, but neither has Singletary. And the Steelers' receiving core is pretty bad, and the Bills, they're pretty decent as far as I'm concerned. So I think the Bills are going to be able to take this one without much trouble. Next, I have the Dolphins beating the Jets. Even without Tua, I think the Dolphins are going to be able to win here. And I don't really think it's going to be all that close. The Jets did beat the Steelers last week, I believe. But it's the Jets. So, got to go Dolphins here. They have too much firepower. And the Jets really don't. I mean, Breece Hall, unless he does, amazing, they're not winning the game. Or Garrett Wilson, I guess. But, the Dolphins are going to win that one. Next, Bucks beating the Falcons. This one's kind of a given. It's the Falcons. They did beat the Browns, but, they beat the Browns. So, that's not really anything to brag about, to be honest with you at this point. Brady has played decently this year. Fournette kind of started to get going last week. In the receiving game, he really didn't have any rushing yards. But he definitely caught a couple passes. Kyle Pitts really kind of has disappointed as well, but Mike Evans is, back to where he left off and is playing great. So I think the Bucs are going to win that one. Again, I don't think it's going to be close either. Next, I said the Saints are going to beat the Seahawks, and that's kind of contingent on the fact that more of the Saints starters come back. If Michael Thomas doesn't play, Alvin Kamara doesn't play, and Jameis Winston also does not play, then my pick changes to the Seahawks. That's on record, so that's going to count if none of them play. Geno has played well. Penny's played well. DK's played well. Big week last week for kind of everyone, just based on who they were playing. Very high-scoring game against the Lions, and that's where we are. That's where we stand right now. I don't know exactly the status. I think they're all basically questionable, though. So, kind of just depends who plays. But, that one can kind of go whichever way, just depending. Next up, I got Jaguars beating the Texans. This one's kind of obvious. I mean, the Jaguars have played pretty well this year, all things considered. James Robinson seems like the starting back after that injury he had at the end of the year, where everyone kind of thought Etienne was going to step up and be the number one there. Kirk has really been worth the money they paid him, and I think they're going to be a pretty decent team this year, potentially even make the playoffs. They're 2-2 right now. They're going to need to start winning some more games, but they are first in their division as it stands. So it's definitely a possibility. And, they're playing the Texans, so it's not like it's a difficult game. Next, I got Titans beating the Commanders. The Titans beating the Commanders. Derrick Henry has played decently, 300 yards, 3 TDs. And the Commanders really just haven't showed that they can do anything. So, I mean, they can do something, but they can't do much. So, the Titans should be able to take that one, and it shouldn't be too difficult if I'm correct. Next up, we got Bears-Vikings. I think the Vikings are going to beat the Bears. And, it's not going to be close either. Justin Fields has played terribly. Barely has a 50% completion percentage. He has it by 1 completion. So, 50% for him, not good. His passer rating is below 60 on the year. Just really kind of pretty bad all around for that team. Khalil Herbert, kind of the bright spot at this point. Then across the way, you got Dalvin Cook and Justin Jefferson, who really are going to continue to play pretty good, in my opinion. So, Vikings should take that one. And it's another one of those where I don't think it'll be that close. Next, Chargers-Browns. I think the Chargers are going to win. Herbert has played great. Brissett has not. Eckler's played great. Chubb's played great. I just think that the Chargers defense is pretty good, and they're going to be able to kind of really prevent Chubb from doing anything crazy this week. And the secondary is pretty good as well, so it should limit the deep threat of any of our receivers. Chargers are going to take that one. We got 49ers, Panthers. 49ers should take this one. Garoppolo played decent last week. Debo played amazing last week. I don't know. There's just not a whole lot of competition here. Baker Mayfield has played like garbage. So I think the 49ers should be able to win this one, especially given how good their defense is. Next, we have Rams-Cowboys. Rams, I think, are going to take this one, although I think it could be a little bit closer than you would expect. The Cowboys are 3-1. Cooper Rush has played good. No turnovers for him thus far, so he is playing a pretty good defense, but I think he's going to continue to play pretty well. Stafford, 4 TDs, 6 picks, not what you're looking for there. But Cooper Kupp continues to impress this year. He's going to hit 1,000. He's going to hit 1,000 yards and 100 catches by week 10 at this rate. Maybe even week 9, because through 4 weeks he has 42 catches, 400 yards. If he pops off, he could hit that by week 9 if he continues to have these 14 catch games, which is just kind of insane. Potentially even on pace to break what he did last year. Maybe not so much in touchdowns because he's not necessarily on track there, but everything else, I mean, he has a chance. He most definitely has a shot at the Triple Crown once again, but, still very early in the season to tell something like that. Eagles-Cardinals. Eagles are going to take this one. It's Jalen Hurts' season. They're 4-0, only undefeated team, and I think they're going to stay that way. The Cardinals are going to start to look better later in the year once they get DeAndre Hopkins back, once they get Rondale Moore back. But for right now, the Eagles are, without a doubt, in my mind, going to win this game, unless something incredible happens. I think their defense has played phenomenal thus far, and they're just kind of unstoppable in my mind. Bengals Ravens. This one I think is going to be tough, but I think that the Bengals are going to win this one. They started to play a little bit better these past couple games, and I think that they're going to keep continuing to carry that momentum. to this one. The Ravens, they're kind of in shambles after losing 2 close games, I believe back-to-back at this point. I think the Bengals are just going to be able to kind of take advantage of their frustration, and hopefully, for my prediction's sake, they'll get the dub. Chiefs, Raiders, Monday Night Football, final game of the week. I think this is going to be a great game, but I think that the Raiders are going to fall just short, and the Chiefs are going to pull off the dub. I think it could be a very high-scoring game. I'm saying like 30-plus points for both teams, which I wouldn't mind, considering I have like the whole Raiders offense in fantasy. So I'm hoping for that, but, who knows. Carr, Jacobs, and Adams both played well last week, if we're going to be honest. But Patrick Mahomes is just kind of tough to beat, and I don't think he will be beat this week. So I think the Chiefs are going to take the dub in the final game of Week 5. If you enjoyed the video and want more NFL news, stay tuned for more. Comes out every week, and I try and do some shorts with any highlights that I see. So stay tuned for that as well. And make sure to like and subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.